Bookem is a small, nonprofit volunteer group that mails educational and nonfiction books to people in prison all across the country.
Tell me about Bookem and the prison cell you've made here.
Bookem is one of over 25 books to prisoner programs across the country that supply literature and educational materials to prisoners.
Bookem started in 2000 and to date has sent over 7,000 small packages of books to self-educating prisoners. Most have no funds and no family supporting them to buy them books.
We got too many prisons now across this land, and the government's taking the power out of the people's hands. And I ain't got no money for attorney, so I'm just another number on this industry. The war on drugs is a war on the poor. We got more prisons than we got Walmart stores. Creating jobs out of slavery.
So is this the actual size of a typical prison cell then?
It's 7 feet tall. So, because we were thinking to get it if it was in a small room, so it would probably actually be a foot taller. And I think more typically it might be 2 feet wider. But my friend Danny Cahill said that he was in 2 different prisons in cells this size, and I think it's typically really close to the size of like a 1-person cell, especially in supermax facilities.
Most prisoners cannot have books mailed to them from friends and family due to bureaucratic fear of smuggling.
Prison libraries are severely underfunded. We've been told by a lot of the prisoners that we work with that, they just have pulp fiction or horror books, and that they don't really have quality educational materials, and especially they really don't have any legal books. So that's one thing that we've been working on. Especially we've been working with other prison book organizations to send legal guides, and also there's a legal center for prisoners in Pennsylvania. We've been getting guides from them and photocopying them and sending them to prisoners because a lot of them, are trying to submit appeals and they really have no idea how to do it, anything about legalese, etc., and they don't have any resources to help them.
We have a second prize winner!
Do you mind if I ask you why you support Bookem? For the record, I'm just making a documentary about Bookem.
Well, I used to work in the correction system, so I'm fully cognizant of the life in prison and what that's all about, and how difficult it is for people and how little resources they have. So I've always, and plus I've had friends who've been in prison, so I'm very supportive of anything that help make life a little easier for the inmates.
The newsletter is mostly done for inmates, but it's kind of a way to help them get in contact with the world on the outside, to show people on the outside that don't know anything about what it's like to be in prison. It gives them an idea of what it's like, and just to expose the abuses that are going on in the prisons and what people go through. People that are incarcerated for ridiculously long periods of time and what they have to suffer to put up with that.
I think that the Webster's Dictionary Company should send every prison in the United States 150 or 500 softcover dictionaries and write it off.
These are legal pamphlets, so sometimes if people request legal information, it's easier to give them this stuff than a book, because there's a lot of legal books, but a lot of them are intense studying legal books, and these are probably more helpful to the general human being. So there's some legal information, there's some health information, especially for prisoners. These are both prison resource directories. I think it's a good idea to give prisoners books, because I think it's a good idea to let people learn if they want to learn. It makes me kind of angry that people don't have access to books, especially if they're in a place that they're supposed to be, you know, thinking about their crimes against society and improving themselves. And if they're not allowed the opportunity to have access to materials by which they can improve themselves, then what are they supposed to do?
Prison libraries often have little to no books of value on the shelves. Prisoners who want to participate in GED programs or other educational programs usually have to obtain or buy their own books for this.
It's because I think, even though it's a small drop in the bucket in remedying the horrible crimes of the prison industrial complex, I don't mean the crimes of the prisoners, but I mean the crimes of the prison industrial complex itself. It still is really important in giving prisoners who have hardly any access to educational materials access to things that might facilitate rehabilitation, because these people are locked in cells for 23 hours a day or however long, and they have nothing. They're not really allowed to do anything, and if they have a book to read, it might open a world of opportunity for them. And I think another reason that I do it is that it's just a way to talk to people about prisons and how messed up they are. I think people still don't know that prisons aren't really places for rehabilitation, and they don't realize how racist and just discriminatory the prison system is. So I think when I talked about bookem, it helps bring up a lot of the other issues, about who's in prison and the times they're serving, and just the policies that put people in prison and let corporate criminals and government officials stay free.
Andre was a peaceful warrior. He volunteered in a lot of community projects. He helped grow the gardens, and we still eat the food that touched his hands. He even volunteered at the Books of Prisoner program. Some of the letters on this wall he might have answered.
Alright, so now do you want to hear the feel-good ending song?
Heavy too, I bet.
We got too many prisons now across this land, and the government's taking the power out of the people's hands.